Correct dimensioning is essential when designing 3D models for real-world productions like 3D printing or laser cutting. Design should start with accurate measurements, ideally taken with a ruler or calipers to the nearest 1 mil. Tolerance matters, so different materials behave differently. Hard materials like plastics or metals need precise tolerance because they do not bend. Components must fit together with just enough clearance. For an example, the nut threading onto a bolt. If it's too tight, it won't actually thread on, and if it's too loose, it's not going to be easily tightened and so therefore lose its function. So to get started, open the template document visible on the screen at the moment. This is available in the video description. And to continue to work on the sketch, we're going down to the timeline and we're right-clicking on the sketch and going Edit Sketch. You might need to rotate the view around. You can dimension lines or paths, shapes or profiles, and even points, which we'll go through and do very quickly. So to go through and begin dimensioning, go to Create, and then down to the bottom, Sketch Dimension, and the hotkey is D. And so be selecting the path. And what we want to go through and do is just update the dimension and be displaying dimensions horizontally or vertically, not on the angle, which it sometimes defaults as. So I can select that and then I can update it to whole numbers. So the length is now 300 and the height I might actually put over here. Let's update that to 250. In the previous videos, we've just been creating shapes. We haven't been including the dimensions. So this is where we want to go through and accurately include those dimensions. We can continue on here, updating the dimension. Dimensioning a circle will give us the the diameter. And arcs will give us the radius. When dimensioning, we want roughly dimensions to be 10 mil from the objects and also align them with the smallest dimension closest to the objects for clarity. We can always go through and edit dimensions anytime by just double clicking on it and then updating it. We can also use equations in Fusion. So if we want to update the radius, we can divide by 5. And therefore it's updated. And I'll just undo that to make it a little bit easier to read. We should also be looking at using the origin. So every design should be aligned to the origin point. At the moment, we've specified, I guess, the scale of this in terms of the length and the width, but now we should be also aligning it to the position within the document. And so we can be, going to create sketch dimension. And so from the origin point to this point, we can specify that dimension. And also the height from that point to that point. Let's pop it over here, make it neater. 150. And now notice these dimensions and the overall drawing is turned the line work black and the dimensions black. And so this is what we define as being a fully defined dimension. So Fusion knows the size and the placement within the document. Updating your design. You'll often need to adjust dimensions after test prints to go through and improve the fit. Also, keep dimensions clearly organized. So small dimensions closest to the objects and large dimensions further out. Align dimensions neatly to avoid confusion. So clear and accurate dimensions help avoid errors and ensure 3D models work when manufactured. Thanks for watching.